Hello, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. This is part of Star Wars Saturdays, run on a Sunday. Yes, if you look at the date and all that stuff, you'll see that I'm running it on Sundays, but it's got to be Saturday somewhere. Maybe you're watching it on a Saturday. I don't know. SWS. This is the second game in our series during May 2022, where we are playing Apocalypse World Burned Over. This is the September 2021 update of Apocalypse World Burned Over, which you can find on itch, and I highly recommend it. I really enjoy this iteration of the game. We are going to, if we hit a particular move, we're going to be trying out something slightly different, just as a warning. It's not in any of the text that you can get. So if we go to do battle, the move is going to be a little different. That said, everything else will be Apocalypse World Burned Over, reskinned for Star Wars. As you can see all the red in the backgrounds of the folks who are playing, we are on a red planet, Dathomir to be exact, the home of Rancors, Zabrak, the Night Sisters, and still the Empire. We're playing in the time frame of a year and a half to 2 years after Palpatine has died, the first time that we saw on screen, where he fell down a hole and the Death Star he was in blew up. So obviously he's never, ever coming back, because anyone who falls down a giant hole of any kind in Star Wars never comes back. It's like the final death in Vampire the Masquerade terms. If you don't know what I mean in Vampire the Masquerade, I'm sorry. It's a great game, especially 5th edition. Maybe my favorite iteration of the entire series of 5 editions. There are also no clones in Star Wars. This exactly. So they can't come back. They're just dead to the dead. In last session, we created characters, split them up, which made HX a little challenging. And a lot of people died. But they were bad people, so it's okay. We have some wishes out on the board and some questions to resolve. Wishes are the group gets together, that all 4 PCs have a scene together, that we have some fallout from other moves, more collateral damage, and that Milo, the Clatuinian, I always want to take that I, that just call it Clatunian, but it's a Clatuinian. Milo, the Clatuinian, takes over the pack, and we see what happens there. But we have some questions resulting from HX. I'd like to get those out and answered. So let's hit. Oh man, Cody, I just see that. I just see that thing that you wrote in text now, and I'm going to say no, don't tempt me with such things. Let's get those HX questions out on the table. So let's start from the left-hand side, heading towards the right, which means I believe you had a question to ask. Yes,
I do. So, Crix, what's our next step? Let's make a plan together. What comes next for us?
And I imagine we're making our way back to my my greenhouse, and from where sadly a Clatunian had been killed, not entirely by accident. And I think Crix is pretty bad tempered at this point, because he's kind of, you come into my life, and whenever you come into my life, shit happens. But I need your help. There's a bunch of kids back at the greenhouse that I'm worried about, and I need to find out what's going on, where they've come from, how they got to be in such poor condition, and what we can do about it.
That seems fair. That does seem troubling. We can work on that.
Absolutely. So yeah, that is the question. That Crix Aaron, the Undaunted. That's the response.
Nice. That is great. And now we know where to pick up with the 2 of you. Crix, did you have any HX questions to ask?
Yes. Sorry, I should ask. Yeah, that's true. Sorry, I'd forgotten about. Yes, I do. Sorry, I'm very dense this morning. So yes, I get to ask Yuka in return what's a secret I've learned or realized about you, given what happened in session 1?
I think that a secret is like there should not be a reason Yuka is on this planet. You know too much about her to like she should be off-world hunting huts. She owes someone something. Who that is, we're not sure, and what that is, we're not sure, but she has a debt to be paid on Dathomir.
It's just making life more complicated, Yuka.
Nice. Nice. And then moving further over, Bayo, I don't think you had any HX questions to ask, correct?
Correct. No HX questions from me.
Awesome. And then for Sin, you had a set of choices. What did you choose for the HX rollover that you had with Bayo?
Yeah, my choice is I'm more open you than I was. Take +1 HX with me. And my thought behind that is, you know, in the previous session, we'd been confronted by some troopers and a tank, and I disrupted the maelstrom and used the force to pull down a rock that smashed the tank. And you had advised me, you know, here's a better way to go. And I didn't take your advice, and I think we both know I probably should have, because there's going to be trouble.
Yeah, it's not looking good for us in the future. Right now, it looks great. We can get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So Bayo and Sin, after Sin's unleashing of a maelstrom, destroying a stormtrooper carrier, a troop carrier, the two of you decide it's probably best to hide out. Who among the two of you, Sin or Bayo, knows that Crix's place is not a bad place to hide out? Perhaps you've heard it from one of Crix's allies or from Crix himself. I'm sure that you've met Grim. Grabblevaw has probably worked alongside well, no, he's probably worked alongside Yuka, perhaps, but anyway, yeah, which of the two of you suggests that we fulfill this wish that's out on the table and heads over to Crix's place?
I think Bayo probably has the most experience with Crix. Maybe not the most quantity number of interactions, but the most quality interactions. Bayo kind of came to Dathomir seeking his path, and he met a lot of folks, helped a lot of folks, kind of gave what he had. So I think he's the one who kind of knows Crix is in his mind, a good guy. Nothing bad happens with Crix, I swear.
Indeed. That's right, because Sin makes Crix uncomfortable. That's going to be awesome as Sin just strolls in like she owns the place, which, who knows? But, you know, Night Sisters, maybe they do own the place. So let's pick up with Crix, with Yuka entering Crix's domain, which is a warehouse / greenhouse. I imagine it's filled with, it has a lot of light that comes down to the green area, lots of green plants, unnatural and the like. And I think, yeah, this might be there was an email that happened in the last week. This perhaps could be a moment for that. There are 5 children here, Yuka, that Crix had warned you about. You see them all. There are 3 to Garuda, a Cathari, of which we've had precious few Cathari in Star Wars Saturdays as a series. So here's one. Cathari are cat people because Star Wars has a shocking amount of anthropomorphic species. Like shocking. Like the deeper the rabbit hole goes, my friends. Speaking of rabbits, there's the Lupins. Anyway, and also there is a young little Togruta girl, and they all are probably still eating, like slowly now. One of them is leaned back and looks like maybe he did that thing where he ate too much and he knows he probably needs to throw up, but he doesn't want to. So we have a lot of them, and the found ones and NPCs But Yuka, when you enter, you see that FXT, which is the pit droid that hangs out around Crix's place, is moving around the children and like picking up bowls and swapping out more food, because FXT isn't programmed to know how much food these children should eat. So what is it that you do, Yuka?
I think Yuka looks at Crix, and there's just like for an Athorian, it's kind of I guess it's kind of like the Elcor thing. There is an expression there. It's hard to read for humans. More strays. You picked up a heftier amount this time than last.
And look back at Yuka as if to say, yeah, the last one was bigger.
Yeah, this is more numeric than mathematic, I think. But
Yeah, quantity as well as quality this time, Yuka.
I think she like sets down this box, opens it up. We see like the Chekhov's RPG launcher as she like reaches in, pulls out a small like vial of seeds and hands them over to Crix. And it's like these are made to be fast growing. If you need more food, it should help.
Oh, that's great. We are running out of food. Crix, hint, hint.
Okay, fix it. Just back off the food, because I'm looking, and I think probably Zuzi Kazu, the Togruta, is lying there with his eyes wide, and this this skinny kid with this distended tummy,
Yes.
just kind of almost unable to take any more food in. And Nakoa, who is the scout, who seems to be the kind of leader, is still gobbling it down. What do I know about these seeds? Are these seeds I recognize?
They would be. I think they'd be like seeds you would recognize, like carrots or something of that nature, but they're slightly off. Like they've been bred with something that you're not quite sure what is. Like that's probably why she said like they're fast growing or something.
Okay. Well,
she is the cultivator for a reason.
So I think that Crix will let the kids just rest and go in and pot these seeds out.
Cool.
Leaving Yuka to watch the children with
Yeah.
Fix It.
Yeah, that Yuka looks down at Fix It. Togruta are pack hunters on their world. It makes sense that these children were able to thrive with 3 Togruta in their ranks. It probably provided tactics that others would not have thought of.
True. Thank you for the information. I will file that away in my ever-shrinking free space on my hard drive in my brain.
I could free that up for you.
I don't want a memory wipe, thank you.
And she'll look. I think she'll like bend down and like look at the kids. Like her eyes squinting as she tries to think of the most calming, reassuring words to say. Don't worry, children. If you have enemies, we will destroy them.
There are several pairs of eyes that look up at you, different expressions. Ulaz, the Twi'lek girl, she seems the most interested in you destroying their enemies. You do notice as well, Yuka, that each of them have these bar-like tattoos that are markings that you have seen on different species, chattel, slave. It's a slave species marking, also used for cattle and other likes. Yeah, it's.
Were you captured by the Hutts, children?
That gets a very definite reaction, even from the Togruta boy who's laying on the ground, as Nakoa moves in front of the other Togruta girl protectively and says, Are you? Are you one of them?
No, I kill Huts.
And Ulaz stands up on her chair. You do?
And I think like that when Yuka will step back, like now she's in kind of entertaining grandma mode, just pulls out the gravity hammers, and like would spin it, but her arms kind of hurt from all the droid fire. It just like shows off like the sound of the gravity hammer. With this,
Rido climbs up on the table and he has the grabby hands. Oh, what is this? I want to see it. Can I use it? I'm
no,
gonna smash something.
no, this is much too heavy for your body weight and mass currently. And she pulls off a plasma grenade that's on this like this bandolier. The most dangerous thing I have that you could probably utilize would be one of these, but I don't trust your current handling of
He's
it. So
up on your arm and like grabbing for the grenade.
She's just like holding it up as like out of his range, like trying to grab him down.
He's trying to climb up your arm, and it's like a cat climbing a tree.
Crix, I require assistance.
God, Yuka. Kids, get away from, back.
You're able to dislodge the Cathari. They're not harm one level.
None of the things that Yuka shows you, never touch any of them.
Without proper training, that is correct.
Yuka, shut up. Never touch any of them.
You will likely dislocate several important ligaments.
Exactly, fix it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I think perhaps that's about the time that Sin and Bayo arrive. So Bayo, I guess you led the way. Sin, you've seen Crix before, because in HX we discovered that Sin makes Crix uncomfortable. But I think maybe this is your first time here. Seem right? Does that feel right for Sin?
Yeah, I don't think I've been to Crix's place. I think I've seen Crix like out among the rest of the people.
Sure.
And it's enough like, oh, that lady's creepy. Yeah.
Bayo, pushes through the front door and Crix, brother, it's good to see you. I haven't gone hunting today. I don't have anything extra to give you. I am sorry. I think Bayo goes in for that like big bro hug to Crix. Like, and it's like the kind of hug that somebody, even though you're not that close, you're like, well, okay, this guy does this.
We're doing this then.
And I think Gravelvar steps in front and says, hold up there, BO.
Gravel, always a pleasure. How you been? You look great. You really, the Dathomir's really doing something for your skin, gotta say.
And Gravelvar looks at the shoulder at Crix as if to say, are we running open house here?
Seems like it. You want me to shoot him?
No. BO, what can I do for you? It's a busy day, okay?
It has been a busy day, but a most fortuitous day. I believe we were all on the path, friend. My friend here, Sin, she is my Night Sister leader. She's teaching me the ways of the Night Brother. And, well, in doing so, you see, there was a problem with some of the remnant, like the bucket heads that sometimes police our streets unfairly, I would add. And we just needed to kind of get out of there, just to get out of there. And you, Crix, it looks great in here. Who are the kids?
I think Grabble will kind of again look at Crix and say, is he on? Have you? Do we grow anything he takes? But Crix is looking at Sin, and rather coldly says, "I don't like your kind."
Whoa, Crix!
My kind will be here whenever your bones are dust.
That's why I don't like your kind. You know, this haughty, this used to be our planet, everybody else leave. That's on the edge of what the Empire thinks, lady. You know, just catch hold of yourself.
This was the Empire's planet, and it is no longer.
How long do you need, BO?
Bayo looks to Sin. A couple of hours, probably, at least. It was a pretty big accident. I can't lie. It was pretty rad.
And I think that maybe Ravida, because we know Ravida came back because she told me about Yuka, didn't she? So Ravida is on scene as well.
That's
And
true. Good point.
I can imagine Ravida carrying something of a torch for BO, because he's quite, you know, his manner is a bit over the top, but he's quite a good looking lad. So I think that Ravida says to Crix, "Oh, let him stay."
Yeah, let us stay, Ravida. Again, thank you. You know me so well. You know it's a good thing.
What happened to your hair?
Yeah,
your head looks like a battlefield.
Yeah, it was the first step on the right path to being a Night Brother. Isn't that right, Sister Sin?
Yes. It seems that my friend here has lost his way, and he needs some learnings. So
I think this is the first time Bayo has seen Yuka and Sin together. And I think there's like almost like this event horizon kind of thing, because they're both wolves of the maelstrom. It's like kind of like cutting in and out, seeing like them both covered in gore. Yuka's like sagging eye sockets, like maybe like growls and different Athorian noises going on before Yuka looks over at Sin and just kind of takes a deferential bow.
Yeah, I think Bayo seeing this, kind of like Yuka stepping forward with the grab hammer, and it's like gives Bayo a little bit of pause. Alan, is Ravida a wolf of the maelstrom?
I think it's highly unlikely.
Okay, so I think
she's an artist of bodies in motion who can capture eyes and hearts.
Perfect.
That doesn't sound like a wolf to me.
Yeah, she captures Bayo's eyes as he just tries to avoid looking directly at Yuka. And he just kind of, so Yuka's here too. That's cool. That's cool. Crix, it's great that you have so much space and that you share it. Honestly, that's really cool of you. I think that honestly, we could all stand to do that a little more, maybe be a little bit more giving with what we have, maybe. And he kind of like looks at Sin and then looks away.
We have a problem we're dealing with, it seems. Can we? And she looks at Crix, looks at Sin. I have enough explosives to handle 2 problems. What have you guys gone up against?
I'll let Sister Sin here explain everything.
the off-worlders tried to prevent us from going where we needed to go. So the ghosts of the ancestors decided that they shouldn't be around anymore. So and then at Bayo's insistence we came here. It wasn't an insistence, by the way. You know, you suggested it and she was like, okay, you know. But at Bayo's insistence, you know, we came here. It is good to see friends as she looks at Yuka.
Yeah, I think Yuka's like that. She gives it kind of a Thorian like weird side smile kind of thing, and she puts the grab hammer, goes back into stasis mode. The plasma grenade goes back on the bandolier, and I think she like walks in like and will like give us in this I think I don't know if it's awkward on Sin's part, but it's not awkward on Yuka's part. This kind of hug that they've known each other for a while.
Oh, and I think Sin is looks like what's happening here, and then it's, you know, there's this big enveloping hug, and she's like very rigid.
Yeah, and Yuka's not afraid. Like Yuka, this is like two predators meeting, pretty much.
I see.
Yeah. Yuka squeezes, pats her on the back, you know. No, kids, this is Sin. She's useful.
And Crix, if there's anything you need from us, of course, I wouldn't think to stay here and just crash without providing you something in return. Do you need anything from the wilds? I can go out there, I can hunt, I can forage for you if you need it.
And I think, you know, Crix is largely ignoring all of this chatter, but I think he is looking out onto the street in Chiaroscuro with an eye to, has the trouble that Sin and BO have caused, has it followed them? So I'm thinking that I may be, you know, I may be engaging with read a situation.
Sure. I think maybe you are. That sounds like a good call.
Because, you know, you don't flip over one of the remaining Imperial armored vehicles and have them, former Imperial armored vehicles, and don't have them make some inquiries. So that's roll plus sharp, which is 0. So I'll roll flat.
Okay.
Oh, that's an 11. Wow. I
What?
wasn't expecting that.
Getting lots of questions now.
Yeah. So I'll tick sharp while I remember. I suppose, what should I be on the lookout for in terms of any former Imperial entanglements?
Awesome. So you pull yourself away from the others and head to a window that looks out onto, I imagine, like a cross street that occasionally there will be a bazaar, because why not have a warehouse near an area where you can sell? And you see that a lot of people have packed up, and there are a number of folks that are just getting out of here. Oh, cycle rickshaws, very cool. And you see that there are pairs of stormtroopers that are moving amongst the stalls as people are trying to lit out just ahead of them coming in to ask questions. And let's see, let's make sure, what should you be on the lookout for? So you see that one of the troopers holds up this little disc, and a small hollow comes up, and it looks like a Night Sister, perhaps. It's hard to tell exact detail from here.
What's my best way around this problem?
Right now, bribing those guys.
Okay. And which of them poses the biggest threat to me? Because then I can avoid that one.
I always want to take out the biggest threat is probably the one that has the orange shoulder pad, the sergeant of the group. His armor's cleaner. He seems to be a little more on the comm. You've heard about this guy. He's very much dot the I's, cross the T's type of trooper. You should definitely not try to bribe him. He's the one that is the biggest threat right now.
Okay. How would you, I'm not sure, I can't remember how we deal with bribery.
Oh, that's a great question, because we should answer that. So
it's just I've been playing Star Wars World recently, and that has a bribe move.
I know it does. There was the go into the open market was a move that used to exist, but I don't think we have it.
Well, there's cruise the market. When you cruise the market, roll plus barter, which
Yeah.
seems like an appropriate thing to be rolling.
There we
for.
go. Roll plus barter. It's your buying power. The results will depend on what's available. Get with the MC for details before you roll. So I would imagine what you can do. There are a couple options we have. We can cruise the market, which means you're rolling plus barter. The other option is that you can sway someone, and you tell me how much it like. Oh, here we go. You can try to sway them and offer up a barter to get yourself a +1 forward on it. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, that does seem fair. I've just realized I lost a barter last time, didn't I?
You
So
did. You're down to one barter.
I did. So I'm down to one barter. So I won't. I think I'll try this with sway someone then. Rolling with cool, which is what technically I'm good at, and I think this is, wandering across the square, this cross street, to where this guy is looking at the building, my building, and how can I help you, officer?
Cool. So you slide out of there without anybody else making note of it. Head up to one of the stormtroopers. Ask how you can help.
Oh, yes. We are looking for a particular terrorist. Here, take a look.
You have a description? I might have seen them. I'm always keen to help, the local authorities.
Better than a description. Take a look at this.
And he pops the little disc, and you see a hollow that, sure enough, is Sin. It's a good likeness of Sin. One wouldn't be able to easily deny that is the person who's in your place right now.
I know her. She done me wrong.
All right. Good. Have you seen her recently?
Yeah, I did. She went that way, not like 20 minutes ago. And yeah, I mean, go get her.
All right.
2d6 plus 2.
Let us see you sway. And it sounds like you're not bribing. You're going with the trickery, which is totally cool. You are.
I knew it. It was still possible.
Yes.
That is a 4 in total. Snake eyes plus 2.
Okay. That sounds good. That sounds real good. I like that a lot. Appreciate your efforts there. It helps me a great deal.
I aim to please.
You do indeed. Cool. So yeah, you say all that, and the stormtrooper, he like pauses for a second, and he's probably talking, but maybe he's on comm with somebody else. He's doing the 2 fingers to the ear, which is the universal signal that someone is making a call. But orange shoulder pad guy comes up to, like, he was in the middle, and he pauses. He was in the middle of talking to someone else. He pauses, looks over your way, and just heads directly towards you and the other.
423, move away. Crix Aaron.
Hello.
You will allow me into your domicile. We are looking for a terrorist.
Well, I mean, I got plenty of vegetables, but no terrorists, okay?
That's excellent. Let's go inside.
Okay.
Go along.
I turn toward, hoping Grabblevar is still at the door, keeping an eye open. And I kind of.
Yeah, and then I think that's when Grabblepaw steps deeper into where the little bit of chaos with a bunch of children, a fawning Twillig who seems to be adding like medicine to all of the little cuts on the back of your head, Bayo. And Grabblepaw says, "Hey, boys in white, get scarce." And the kids all look scared and start to run around looking for hiding places. They're like, one of them's ducking behind a plant. Yuka, what do you do?
Ooh, I think she looks at Sin, looks at Bayo, And there's like a quick scan out the window, sees the stormtroopers coming. Then like we'll offer her hand out to Sin. Just I can get you out of here.
You're offering violence to burst through them?
Oh no, I'm offering to basically like take you with, like go out the back, but I will be with you in case violence breaks out.
Let's see. Yeah. So I think I don't know if this works this way, so I'm going to ask you about a move.
Okay.
There's an augury move, and I think I want to do that. And one of the options is you can open a door into the world's maelstrom. And I think this would just be what I'm envisioning to Star Warsify it is opening a passageway to another place. I'm not sure how much control I have over that. That probably the dice might decide that.
The dice would definitely have. So is that a possibility? I'm going to say that with augury, you could potentially do it, but that is a super dangerous thing you are trying to do.
Sin over here using the world between worlds. My word.
I know.
I'm not sure she knows anything about how dangerous it is. She doesn't know the extent of this. So yeah, I want to do that.
Okay. This sounds fun and dangerous. I love it.
That is plus weird. I roll plus weird. And I think the way this looks on screen is I pull out the Sith holocron that Crix has given me. I'm sorry, that Yuka's given me in the past. And this is a focal point for it. And let me get over to the roller. And I'll roll 2d6. And my weird is 3. That is boxcars.
Well,
So yep.
that is impressive.
Whenever I start to do it, is that green mist kind of comes out and forms against kind of the corner of the door. And wisps of it come out, and I think you probably hear a little bit of moans or something like that. And I think I actually grasp Bao's arm and I say, this place wasn't safe after all. And I think we turn to leave.
So tell me the choices. So you at a 10 plus, I've dropped in the standard moves, column C, standard move for psychic antenna. You can reach to the world. So you roll plus weird on any hit. You can reach to the world psychic maelstrom to something or someone connected to it. You can isolate and protect a person. You can extract and contain a fragment. You can open a window or door into the psychic maelstrom. Which of those are you choosing?
So it's the door into the maelstrom. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. So you open a door into the maelstrom now. By default, it lasts only as long as you maintain it. Reaches only shallowly into the psychic maelstrom as it is local to you and bleeds instability. On a 10 plus, you choose 2 of the following. So do you see those choices?
I do. So I think I'll choose it's stable and contained, no bleeding. And the way I imagine that is that means that anyone who comes through will go to the same place. And then it persists for a while without me actively maintaining it. Wait, let me think about that. Yeah, and I think it's going to exist long enough for anyone who wants to go through that area. But I would like to put on the table, where's a good place for it to pop out?
I feel like I feel like if you're opening up a portal on Dathomir, it's gonna end up somewhere bad, right? Using a Sith holocron to take us somewhere, I feel it's gotta be somewhere awful.
yeah, I agree. And I think it probably unfortunately scares the children a little bit. I think there's like lightning and moaning and that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, that sounds appropriate and terrifying.
But I think that in order to get the kids out of there, because they probably shouldn't be here either, I think like Ravita and Yuka probably need to scoop them up.
Okay. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to have us cast out into this wilderness somewhere with a bunch of kids that will limit our options.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What do you think?
All right. Yeah. I think you go to the Rancor pit is where you jump through to. I think that is where Sin, perhaps some part of your mind sees the potential safety there.
Well, Bayo was just talking about going out and hunting. So
yeah.
Yeah, this is my
and-
fault. You're right.
And yeah, I like the idea that the closest I have to protection in the form of Gravel Var doesn't come. But that Crix, when he sees the kids being taken through, Crix runs past the stormtroopers in order to not lose sight of those kids. And Gravel Var is saying, no! But
Man, oh man. Okay, so just a head count to make sure we're all on the same page. We're saying that Ravita grabbed a couple kids and Fix It probably got grabbed by, I'm guessing, the Cathari kid. The kids have run through this, even though they were scared at first. They're also very scared of the stormtroopers, so they have gone to the other side of whatever this is. When you saw all of this trouble, Crix also went through, and of course, Bayo is doing this. Does Yuka travel along?
Oh, of course. She was helping the kids get through. This is easier.
Awesome. Okay, totally easier, which means the only person who's left behind is Gravel Va, right?
I think Fix It probably stays behind as well.
Okay.
Because his prime directive is to keep that watering system running.
No, that's fine. Go on without me. I'm not at all trouble dealing with the Imperials, sir.
I'm just hoping Gravel Var doesn't do anything rash.
We hear the click of him playing with that button that he has on his blaster pistol as you disappear. And yeah, I think it's the Rancor pit. So we hear some music piped in over speakers. It's a bit dimmer in here than it was in your beautiful greenhouse warehouse. And this being the Rancor pit, this is the place you were at not that long ago. You see that the droid is no longer there, that they seem to have cleaned up whatever area mess was left behind by the droid. There are no troopers in here, but you know that there's trouble here. There's a shock boxing match going on right now. You see there's a large Trandoshan who is in a match, and there are a number of folks betting on it. It is probably not the place that young children should go to, but also no one's actively menacing them, so their curiosity is going to be a problem. It's an actual bar.
Yeah, I think
The bar called.
Yuka will get the attention of a few of the kids, try to have them come with her, go up to the bar, hold up her Athorian hand, get 5 glasses of milk ordered up.
Nice.
And as she hands the glasses of milk to each kid, she'll give them 5 credits to bet on who they want to bet for in the fighting matches.
Oh, you're like the bad aunt. This is so good.
like blue milk.
Yeah, blue milk and
Oh.
credit chips to bet. This is how it goes.
Nice. That sounds amazing. How is Sin handling this?
I think Sin and Bayo, because they first opened the portal, at least Sin comes out in a back room, and that area is I think it was kind of boarded up, but I think it used to be an altar. The Rancor pit, I guess, was something before the Offworlders came. And I think we see these flashes of green light, and there's an old boarded up area that's kind of weird and creepy. And that's whenever Sin kind of walks up to the boards and starts kind of trying to take them down to get back out into the rest of the bar. So I think she's separated right now from
Interesting.
Yuka and the kids.
Damn it,
And
Bill,
you are
what
as
did you do? Where's that freaky woman?
Wait, who was that aimed at?
BO. Because
Well,
What?
I don't know. We've never done that before. I feel a little sick. Do you guys feel good? I feel like I need. Ooh, this is. And I think Bayo kind of looks around, realizes he's in a bar, expected something else. Can I sniff the wind to perhaps identify where Sin is, but also to kind of have a better idea of exactly what's going on?
Wild. Yeah, you can do that thing.
So it's just an enhancement to when I read a situation. So let me read a situation. I got a +2. Boom.
On.
I got a 12.
Got a 12. All right. So you get a free additional question and some extra questions. So many questions.
So I think for this, what should I be on the lookout for?
And you're directly trying to find out where Sin is. That is.
Yeah, it's when I say what I feel like what should I be on looking for Bayo's point of view, they're still in the city. They're still in, there's troopers going to be around. And also I don't think Bayo spent much time in the Rancor pit. So he is kind of looking to see who's behaving in ways that he recognizes as someone in charge, someone in security, someone who they can come across, they don't want to make angry. I think Bayo wants to, I guess that's almost asking a different question as well, which is who's in control here. So I'll start with who's in control here.
Okay. So you check around the place looking at this unfamiliar bar, and you can tell that the person who is in control is a woman with blue skin. You recognize her from her red eyes. She must be a Chiss, and she's dressed well and seems to just have an aura of comfortable command about the place. She's not actively managing, but you just get that sense of authority and sense of ownership from her.
Okay. Yeah, so and then what should it be on the lookout for specifically, I guess, in reference to looking for Sin? Yeah.
Okay. And I think you catch, like, we'll go literal with sniff the wind. You catch the smell, the familiar smell of Sin, and you can hear there's some movement near a back room as Sin is trying to, like, you're trying to make your way back to the bar. Is that right? Is that the intake?
Yeah, I think that basically I'm like smashing at the boards, and you can hear, if you listen real closely, I think you can hear, cries of frustration. She's not happy with being, stuck back here, and, is a little bit indignant. Yeah, but it was like, trying to, I think you probably hear some boards crack or something like that. Yeah.
Cool. Spotting that, I think kind of, Bayo, Sin is that way, and I think she's stuck in a box. Maybe can you go help? And then I think Bayo's kind of distracted by. At this point, I want to hit one of the bonus question for Sniff the Wind, which is, what or who is the source of the most pain or fear here?
Ooh, interesting.
In my mind, I think this is something that Bayo doesn't even have a choice of feeling, right? It's just like, oh, this is present. I'm aware of it now.
And I think that feels like Sin, like right now where she's at. And I think you get a little bit more about tell me if I've misinterpreted from what you're saying, but that Sin is locked out, is cut off, is by herself. And that's what seems to bother her the most. So is that a right read of Sin right now? The the trapped, the away from everyone else? Is that
Yeah,
the stress?
Trapped 100%. Like not being able to move about. Now, I'm not sure. So since like a poser, right? So I'm not sure she's definitely afraid of being trapped in, especially with the people after her. But I don't know that she's I think she is concerned about Bayo and probably Yuka because she helped her, with this holocron, which I think she puts in her pocket and curses a little bit. But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Does that meet Cody? Does that feel good?
Yeah, that's good. And then I mean I have another question, but I can't. Well, let's see. Let me just take one last look at this list. Maybe
Yeah, see if you can make it work.
Who or what poses the biggest threat to me? That seems like it should be asked.
Oh yeah. Biggest threat to you. As you're scanning around the place, trying to see who poses the biggest threat to you specifically, then I would say that Deadeye Azam Amirialan is like he's checking a dat. You see, he's got a blaster pistol. He doesn't have it's down in like a gunfighter's holster, and he is checking a data pad and glancing up at Yuka and checking. So I think is a more collectively you and your group that you've arrived with. That's the biggest immediate threat of the moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Just a quick question. The description of him, then in my mind, he doesn't look like security. He looks like he looks
certainly not security.
Okay.
Yeah, he is not security. He is a thug and gunfighter. He's a mercenary. He's not the nicest of guys. And he seems to be looking at Yuka like she's a payday.
Got it. So yeah, Bayo kind of spots that. Bayo's going to reach out, put a hand on Yuka's shoulder, and says, "Yeah, I think you should go to the back and find Sin, and get out of vision. There's a guy over there looking at you. It's looking pretty. It doesn't look good."
And she will hear that, and then with all the grace of a cat falling into the bathtub, she will just turn and dead eye stare the guy touching the trigger on his gun. Awesome. Just like the eye up the competition. Oh, yes, I will find Sin, and just walks away after like dead eyeing this man.
Well, that kind of ruined the whole point of that, I guess. Oh, jeez.
BO,
yeah, Chris,
explain to me what just happened. You bring a whole bunch of stormtroopers to my doorstep. Then that freak you're with, kind of, what's happening back there? And you took the kids through this?
Well, I didn't mean to take the kids through this. And I didn't
This
know
is on you, BO. This is on you.
I don't know if we should say this is all on me. I feel like I'm a little over my head. I'll admit. Have you heard of this thing called the Force, Crix? So the Force works in mysterious ways.
Don't throw that mumbo jumbo at me.
Well,
you need to make this right, BO. You need to make this right.
I think it's a lot more than mumbo jumbo. Crix, we just saw it. We used it. We walked through the forest. Did you feel it, Crix? It was beautiful, man.
And meanwhile, my only source of income and a roof over my head and of my friends is being crawled over by a bunch of stormtroopers.
Yeah, I agree. That's not ideal. And honestly, I feel like
what is wrong with the back door of a building, BO? Buildings have back doors so people can leave through them. You don't need this kind of freaky shit.
The Night Sister led us the way she believed would be best, and I think we have to respect that.
Do we know? Where is
Well,
that woman?
We should that way. I think back. It's weird that we landed here. Honestly,
You
Yep.
gather up the kids.
Okay. All right. Bayo's on kid duty. What's up, younglings?
I won 3 credits.
Everybody form a maglev train. We're going out.
Ooh. So we cut back to Yuka coming in to help Sin get out of the back room area. So Sin, you said that there was something more like older here in this back area. That Rancor pit itself was kind of built around this thing. Is that right?
Yeah, so I think that basically what I imagine is this is an old temple, which is
Mhm.
why I would be called here. But I think when the Rancor pit was built, the off-worlders came here and kind of blocked off some of the stuff that seemed like, icky or weird or something like that. So there's probably just like a part of a wall that's been built up that, I came to this altar-looking area that's all creepy and green, misty and all that, but there's like a part of a wall there, and I'm trying to,
You're
push
not trying
my
to
way
get out. You're trying to get through. I misunderstood that. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Cool.
And so I think I'm, trying to knock the wood down or something and like scrabbling to get out.
All right, Yuka, you come upon this. You basically have to work your way to a back room. You realize, Yuka, that someone's marked your passage. Like, you aren't subtle. But you come in as Sin has pulled a bunch of boards down, and you see there's this like odd. I mean, I'm going to stick with red, right? Like a red glow that's coming from a passage behind it, and Sin's making her way towards it.
Oh, I thought Sin was trying to get away from the temple. Is she trying to get towards the?
She's trying to get towards it, right, Steven? Just making sure.
Oh no, I'm sorry. She came. I'm sorry to have confused everything. She came to where this temple was. It's been boarded up. She's trying to get out of this enclosed area because she's like there was no other way out.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
I understood. I thought she was trying to
Okay,
get out
so
of the
I think
temple area.
I think I understood it, then convinced myself I didn't understand it.
Yeah, she's
Ugh.
not trying to get to the temple. She's trying to get out.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
think Yuka will
Trying to get
go up to like this, like the boards. There's like probably like with I think that aggro of -2, like there's like 2 boards of like 15 removed kind of thing.
Sure.
Yuka will pull out her Omni tool, and I'd like to roll to aid Sin, I guess, to get her out of the.
Nah, it's not.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't.
she'll just like Omni tool the boards open.
Yeah.
And then
Cool. You
I
got it.
think like look back into the temple or like the little holy altar site, and oh, a place of power in this little dump. I didn't imagine that.
And Sin is like cursing and like in that lisp and saying things like, they boarded it up and that's wrong, and you'd think that they would have known better than to have displaced things and treated it poorly, and maybe that's why this place is such a pit hole. And she gets out, and I think she unceremoniously like falls on her face as she gets out from behind these boards, and like gets up and looks like, I should have been better than this, but you saw nothing.
I saw they did not destroy what they did not understand. That was at least smart of them. We can come back.
And Yuka, when you glanced past into, did you try to look into the area a little bit further? It's okay. Just making sure that, because now I'm starting to question my ability to understand words people are saying out loud. Cool. You see that there is, from an area deeper in the recesses of this small cave hole temple area, that there's this pod that's hanging down, and it looks organic, whereas everything behind it is more the red clay and deep stone.
Can I do something very ill-advised?
Can I stop you?
I'd like to open my brain to see what this is.
Awesome.
And with my -1, this will go well.
It will. By the way, are people marking when you're rolling with your stats? Just making sure. Okay.
That did go well. I got a 9.
Oh, that's good. That's so good. So just so we're on the same page with a open your brain. What's the question that you have?
What is this? What am I looking at? What is this thing?
Nice. And on a 7 to 9, ask the MC what you'd see and feel. If the MC has any questions for you, answer them. And on a 7 to 9, you're along for the ride. So what is this thing? You look at it for a few moments and you see through the skin of the pod. At first it seems leathery, but then you realize, no, it's actually can hold light. You can see that there's some kind of shape inside it, and open your brain to it. You try to understand it, and you're thrown into another space on Dathomir. You know it's somewhere else because there's no Rancor pit, there's no city. It's the open area with the plateaus like you might see in Sin and Crixaren's backgrounds. There are these odd trees with foliage that loops down, and you see a woman that looks similar to Sin, another Night Sister, and she has a glowing weapon in her hands, a sword of some kind. And then you see that there are these flying machines that you don't recognize from any recent time. They come swooping down and they're firing in a strafe run, and several other Night Sisters are hit by those weapons and they're thrown. You hear the screams of the dying. And then you see a single solitary figure come through the smoke. And you see a red lightsaber that person is wielding. And you follow this Night Sister as she launches herself forward with the sound of someone else saying, no, run, run. But she comes forward to take vengeance. Like, this is the mark. This is the person who needs to pay for the death of her sisters. And this Night Sister's death is quick. This old human moves faster than she ever anticipated. And that's when you realize that shape inside of that pod those are her last remains. How does that make you feel?
Well, makes me feel like maybe that these weren't the smartest predators. Maybe there's a lot left over, and that's pretty. Yeah, I'm just curious how they carved out such an empire if they're so easily taken out. This is sad. BO has put his faith in the wrong thing.
Not wrong in some ways. All right. Let's pick back up with Crix. So Crix, what's the last thing? Where do we leave you?
So I told BO to get the kids together,
Right.
And Ravida will help him just shepherd them so we don't lose any. but I'm wondering whether, I see where Yuka goes, and I'm curious what the Mary Allen does, because there's a little bit of eye stuff going on between Yuka and him, isn't there?
There's a little bit of little eye effing. That's right. He said effing, so it's okay. No, that was a peacekeeper joke. It wasn't even a good one. He seems like Deadeye, the Mary Allen, is waiting for the right moment. You could tell he's a kind of person who's going to wait until Yuka is in a bad way before he makes his move.
In which case, I think I will also wait for when's the best time to interrupt what he's thinking of doing.
Ooh, interesting. All right. So Bayo, you've gathered the kids with Ravita helping out. They've won some, they've lost some. You've realized that one of the Twi'lek girls, she swapped out her blue milk for something else. And she has the hiccups.
Theo will take the rest of the drink and quickly wash it down. And he says, you got to watch out. You can't have all that at once. It can get you. You got to take care of yourself. Blue milk first in the morning. And when I say in the morning, I speak spiritually. That's when you're young. Blue milk when you're young. And then this stuff in the evening when you're old and gray, like Crix.
And the Cathari like clambers up onto your back and it throws his legs around your neck. Says, you're old. Grabs one of your horns.
Oh, wow. No, I haven't lost my hair. My beautiful locks were shorn to show my commitment to the cause. Don't tug on the horn as much, but let's chew out of here.
The Twi'lek girl, Ulaz, says, what? Why did you give up your hair? I've always wanted hair.
It's sometimes, hair is a pretty cool thing, and you give it up to show that it takes a long time to grow. And I don't know if we've met previously. I don't think I've seen you around. I used to have pretty long hair, which it was pretty nice. I'm not afraid to admit it. I was a little vain about that, and that's a problem, and that's something Bayo needs to work on, and Bayo knows this. And it takes a long time to grow. So when you do a change like this, it shows that you're committed to the change because you're willing to change something you've been doing for so long. I think is how it works.
Why are you changing? What was wrong with you?
Well, that's a pretty big question, little dude. I think girls can be dudes too in Star Wars. Everyone's dudes. What's the Star Wars substitute for dude? I gotta find one.
No, it's awesome. I don't know. I don't know. We can just go with dude. That sounds great.
He says, well, I just, I needed to find out where I came from so I could discover where I needed to go. And my people come from Dathomir. And why am I explaining all this to you?
Yes, because she's asking questions. The other Togruta girl will come up, and Ravita has Nakoa and Zuzi, the other two Togruta boys. And Ravita says, are you okay? They're not giving you too much trouble. You seem like you're really good with kids.
I think Bayo looks up at her and almost has tears in his eyes. He says, they ask so many questions. We need to get out of here.
Cool. So yeah, I think this is interesting. Do we want to cut scene here, go to break, and then pick up in a different place? Does that seem like a good thing? Nobody had anything more they absolutely needed to do at Rancor Pit, right?
I just assumed that thug was going to have a go at Yuka.
Oh, he's waiting. He's waiting. He's going to follow y'all out. Yeah, totally. Wherever you go, he's following for a bit. It's gonna wait for you to be not IFing him at all or ocular carking. Okay, cool. Let's take our mid-game break. All right. So we pick up with the lot of you trying to make your way out of the Rancor pit. You know, Crix, that heading back home, as it were, is probably not going to work to your benefit. And I'm curious, where is it that you guys are headed to next? Yuka, where are folks going? Because you know that there's stormtroopers on their way to a place like Rancor Pit.
I think this is going to have to be the time we see where Yuka lives. I think she's willing to take them to her hideout or her bolt hole.
Oh, nice. I like that. That sounds fantastic.
But that means she will have to deal with something if that Miralyn man is.
Oh, she will have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. So what? You arrive there. What is there? Where does Yuka stay?
I think she has a place in High Market. It is like, it looks like this kind of blasted out apartment, or like what would have been like an old brothel or something. If in Star Wars parlance, what was a hive of scum and villainy at one point, but has been hollowed out into, like, I think it is a like, because she's an Authorian, it is like a commune. Like, it's more of a communal place where several people live and pull in work and do stuff. But it's just like this big, like, there are private rooms, but like it's mostly just communal spaces that have been revamped.
Awesome. Well, then I think that Morgan Stardust has to be one of the other members of the commune, because he's just used to living in communal places. He doesn't like to be alone, ever. And Morgan knows Ravita, because they both work at the Rancor Pit. So, yeah, that's interesting, though, because I would imagine, how would both of them be off of work at the same time? That never happens.
Well, Ravita didn't get, like, Ravita left early because there was a fight.
That's
so
true.
I think she's technically still on. It's just not right now.
Yeah. So showed up and didn't go back to work and then left again. Oh my goodness, she's gonna have a talking at from Wisher at some point. Cool. So the kids come in, they're moving from room to room, checking things out. I think Diala, the Togruta girl, is hanging near you, Crix. She seems a little afraid of Yuka. The others less so, but Diala's maybe a little more timid. Crix,
Well, this may be the first
okay?
time. This may be the first time that Crix can actually find out what the hell is going on here. Because we seem to be perpetually on the run from one place to another at the minute. So I think that I want to sit down with Noala and try to work out how they came to be in an alley opposite my greenhouse.
I think Nakoa and Diala will sit with you, and now that they've had a little bit of food and some time to get over a bit of the trauma, they're open to trying to talk. And Diala, she says, we were captured on another planet, brought here to be sold, I think.
By whom?
She leans her head to the side. She says, the hut.
Did they have a name, this hut?
She glances over at Nakoa, and I want to check in with fair. Did we have any hut left over from Bounty of the Week that Yuka met? But
We had
didn't
one
kill?
from the Battletech Galactica kind of game that we did. The hut that Marwin met and sent after Yuka's planet.
Oh yeah, there are plenty. I was just wondering if there were any that Yuka met but hadn't killed.
Oh no, any that Yuka has met, just feel free to throw any out. I will work with whatever you get me.
Okay, cool. That sounds that sounds fantastic. Then I think Nakoa is the one who answers. Diala hesitates, and Nakoa says, "His name's Ochub."
I suppose I'm vaguely surprised that these kids know the actual hut involved. I expected there to be some middle ranking non-hut or so I suppose I'm also interested if that's the hut at the top of this operation. I'm curious where they escaped from.
Cool. Diala she'll answer. The planet is called Terrace. It is not too far, as I understand. We were captured there and stolen away from our families and brought here. I don't know who. I don't think Ochub wanted us for him. Maybe for another.
I'm just digging for the name of a ship or where they were imprisoned before they managed to escape. Anything that would give us a lead of where to go to put this right.
That sounds perfectly legitimate.
And I'm happy to read a person or sway, whatever you want, if you feel that we've reached that point.
I don't see why these kids would be reluctant to give you information. Rido, the Cathar, he'll come over. You want to know the ship? Oh, the Strident. I saw it. I saw the name when they were pulling us out. They put bags on our heads so we couldn't see anything, but I ripped a hole in mine. Shows this little cat claws. I could see it.
Okay. You have any food that these children could eat here?
Yuka will look suspiciously at Crick. They just ate. Oh, if they're to stay here, yes, they can. We all have food they can share.
Morgan says, "Oh, we're keeping these children?"
These children are welcome in my area, and thus far will be welcome in the commune if they see fit.
I think Ravida will step in to oil the wheels with Morgan if necessary.
The two of them have a brief conversation, and Ravida is probably going to owe him a favor, but Morgan will go with the flow. He's not going to challenge.
We just need
Yuka.
somewhere safe to leave these children while we try to put this right.
Diala grabs your hand. I don't want to go away from you, Crix. You're the only one who's...
I get that. But we need to get you home.
The Cathari. You're going to get us home? You have a ship?
That's the plan. But I have to go and sort it out. So you have to stay here.
Now let us see if you can properly sway them.
Okay. Should have seen
I
that
will
one.
aid if necessary.
Okay. So this is roll plus cool, which is 2 for me. Oh, I've lost my dice roller. Where did that go? There it is. Well, this has been going so well so far. So
Well, so well, and then occasionally not
Oh.
so well.
a pair of 6s. I'll take that.
I've never seen this many boxcars. This is amazing. You guys
Um,
were meant to sway.
So that's as good as it gets, I suppose you
It's
could
as
say.
good as it gets. Yeah, you don't need help. What would have happened is, of course, they're not going to argue with you, but one might have snuck after you. And with that, you've made the case. And I think pretty firmly, Nakoa and Ulaz will both say, we'll stay here. But
Ravida will stay with you.
that seals the deal. Diala says, don't be gone long. If you can't get us home, you won't just leave us here, will you?
Uh-uh.
Okay.
And then I'd like a screen wipe to the 4 of us
I
in
like
a
that.
different bit of the building.
Yeah, you guys have a private conversation now, a grown-up conversation.
Yeah, exactly. But one that involves a plan rather than just reacting. Stare at Sin, stare at Yuka, then stare at BO. These kids came to Dathomir on a ship called the Strident. We need to get them home. We need to find out who's shipping kids here, and we put a stop to it.
You got it, dude.
I think that it's Sin that I'm concerned about.
Why would you be Sin? We should do this. This is a good thing to do, right, Sin?
More off-worlders should not be coming here. I agree.
Okay, I'll take that.
That's a
And I
weird
think
way to put it, but okay, yeah.
Yuka will look at Sin. It's like, if you consider it that only in that way, then consider that they're bringing off-worlders that you have no control over. If you want anyone here, it should be under your rule and your say, shouldn't it?
The off-worlders don't understand, and they destroy things that they don't understand. So the fewer of them here, the better.
I see why you're the one who survived.
And I think that it doesn't take much to realize she's trying to look, confident, like, oh yeah, of course that's why. But, she's also, you can see some weakness that she's, she got lucky. Yeah.
So none of that freaky stuff without talking about it. We can't, it draws people's attention,
You're right, Crix, of course, but like the Force again. Have you heard of the Force? You didn't really mention it when I asked last time. You called it mumbo jumbo, so of it. You get it, yeah, you know it.
Crix, we've had this conversation about a maelstrom and wolves and all that stuff. It's all in your head, okay? I don't know what she just pulled.
Well, I just mean to say that while Beo will try to talk first before any weirdness, the Force works, the maelstrom pulls, and it is up to us, humble travelers, to go on that journey where the Force wills.
Oh,
And I
The
think
Force wills us to help these children.
I think
agree.
yes, Yuka, yes, the Force wills us to help these children. Thank God.
I agree. That's exactly. Good way to say it, Yuka. Yeah, totally.
how do we find the Strident then?
It seemed like Stephen Sin was trying to say something.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay. I just didn't want to make sure you got a chance there. So how do we find the Strider is a great question. How do you guys want to find the Strider?
I imagine we have the spaceport. Somebody could go scope around the spaceport and just see what they see if there's a talk to somebody. Bayo would be happy to go and just scout and see if he could find if the ship is there currently, or talk to somebody. Bayo likes talking to people. He seems that people Bayo feels that people seem to respond pretty well to him, so he's happy to talk to folks and just kind of ask seemingly inane questions.
I mean, given Richie, you've put such effort into trying to get us into the same room. I think
know,
we
it's
all go to the
amazing.
spaceport and BO does the heavy lifting. Unless somebody wants to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, going to, just so we're clear, going to the spaceport is under the control of the Empire. So
So in my mind, I guess I would say just because we're trying to find out more about the Strident, if we did that, I would be happy to do that and just kind of, gamify it a little bit, do some rolls, ask a couple of questions, don't have to do a full scene, but that was just a thought. But
it's
yes,
not a
if it's
bad
under
thought at
Empire-
all. I just want to make sure that nobody said, wait, I didn't realize we were running into a bunch of stormtroopers, because you may be running into a bunch of stormtroopers.
True.
If Sin is willing to go to the spaceport, I'm also willing to go to be backup in case, be non-force backup.
Yeah. So sure, I'll go. I mean, if you want, I can go. One of you can suggest that I put on like a cloak or something, and then it'd be harder to read me. I think Sin does go up to Bayo and says, "Night Brothers take what they want. They don't ask."
Who has a data pad here? Can we just do this on the HoloNet? That's a thing people do, right? I gave up my data pad when I took a vow of poverty to come here.
Oh my, by the force, shut up. She hands over her data pad.
All right. Bayo kind of holds it. He says, he looks over at Sin. Night Brother takes. All right.
You will give that back after you're done.
when the Night Brother no longer requires it, yes. Now how do I don't know if there's any sort of mechanic for using the internet in Apocalypse World. But maybe just some cursory Googling of what ships are nearby. I was just thinking there might be a way to just get this done without danger, but maybe not.
This is Star Wars. There has to be danger. We go to the starport. We take the risk of bumping into the Imperials. That's the whole point.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I can't get this thing to work. He passes back to you.
Well, I will tell you that a slaving ship wouldn't be openly like, hey, do you want some new slaves? They're not going to list it. So you can make a cursory look. You get it to work. You're able to find a few ships that offer passage off world, but none of them.
Here's if I might, I do that for a bit. You can kind of see Bayo's eyes glaze over. He's not having any success. He starts tapping over and he walks away with the data pad. I think you start hearing what sounds like some hollows playing of various hijinks, and he takes it down and gives the data pad to the kids with.
Nice. I like that. Cool. So do we pick up then with you guys at the spaceport? That sounds fun.
Yeah, the classic Star Wars wipe.
Yeah,
Everybody's in cloaks.
Oh, it's totally in cloaks. You guys are all cloaked up. Cool. So let's take a look in our NPCs and places. The spaceport. Kilometers of open scrub and broken ground worked by struggling farmholds, overseen by a high central tower and compound. Long ago, when the fallen city was verdant and new, this spaceport was fully operational. Now, only a tenth of the spaceport is operational. Have fully half of that is operational has Imperial forces moving between the ships, Imperial ships delivering goods, taking things off. But the other half of the small sliver of the spaceport that's functional does have regular commercial traffic. There are some around the spaceport. This isn't really a touristy type of place, but there's still the need for people to come and go on and off of the planet. There's a bazaar that's set up where people that just offload goods down to an area in the spaceport that's specifically designated to keep foodstuffs. And the lot of you are working together, cloaked, which is all you need. And of course, we see further back is that Mary Allen, who's not even bothering to wear a cloak. He's just trailing, biding his time, waiting for his hard move to show up. He's over here on a shelf called Rich's Hard Moves. I stole that from Lowell. It's a great idea. And you guys are, it sounds like we're moving amongst a market, trying to get some information that you want, right? So let's have you cruise the market.
Does
We'll
anyone
feel
have any barter? Because otherwise,
that's a great question. I imagine that Bayo has at least one barter and one.
I have one barter. Yep.
You were the one who thought you were outgoing, and people, gosh darn it, people like you.
Well, maybe not that much, but yes. Okay, yeah. So Bayo, I think
I also have barter, but I don't think anybody likes me. So
classic play. Yeah. Bayo will keep the cloak pulled tight and kind of approach a vendor, somebody who looks like they see a lot of comings and goings. And he'll just say, hello. Have you heard of the Force?
And the person who looks like he's pretty aware of everything is a Nikto. And you just lead off with, have you heard the Force? And he says, yeah, you can go over there. Talk to those people.
Where does he point?
He points off to another booth
Perfect.
of a person who's selling some like
Bayo goes
cabbages.
to those people.
Awesome.
Yep. Bayo turns around and walks over that way.
Nice. So you guys are watching Bayo get shuffled off by someone who did not want to talk about the Force. And as you're doing that, you see there's some Clatuinians from the well. Crix will recognize one of them is one of the guys you bribed. And they're moving through the stalls, and one of them picks up looks at this particular guy, puts it down like it's not good enough for him. And they're obviously got some weapons, but they're right by the Imperials, so they're not going to start any stuff. Bayo, you head over to the guy who's selling cabbages. He looks up at you. Oh, yes, I've heard of the Force. Absolutely. Would you like a few of these cabbages?
I would, but I also would like to ask some questions if you have the answers. I feel that the Force has guided me to you, and that means there is something here that deeper than either of us are aware.
He hands you a small wooden crate. He puts a cabbage inside the crate. Why don't you go ahead and make the roll?
Okay. All right. So it's just a 2d6 plus the barter.
Yep.
All right. And I got a barter of 1, which is really good. Everyone knows that.
Yep. This is the vaguest of all moves.
And I got a 10.
You got a 10. Fantastic.
6 plus 3 plus 1.
Sounds good. So you've got enough barter to cover some red space cabbages. That's no big deal. But it seems like every time he answers some questions, he's going to put a few more cabbages carefully into the crate.
And Bayo probably isn't even aware that that's what's happening to him, but he's just like, okay, cool, this is working great. Bayo asks, he says, you work here in the market near the spaceport. Have you seen And he kind of pauses and he goes, I didn't ask all these questions back at the house. Have you seen or heard of a ship called the Strident? And he looks back a little bit. Strident? Is that right?
He looks past you, like, who are you talking to? And then he realizes you asked about the Force. So now he just, oh, my friend, you should stay far, far away from the Strident. That is a slaver ship. Not good. Not good.
I have the sense of that. Now, who are these slavers? Do you know them?
Not. I stay far away from the Zygarians.
Zygarians. Okay.
You would be wise too as well, my friend.
I do agree. What was your name?
Oh, my name's Garin.
Garin, brother in the Force. I do agree, but as we both know, sometimes the Force puts us where wisdom would otherwise have us not go. Or something like that, I think. Do you know where the Zygarians could be found? If the Force willed it, that I must see them. I don't think it will, hopefully. But again, it works in mysterious ways, as you know, brother.
Yes. They have a small enclave at the inroad. They stay far away from the well, as well as the spaceport, except for when they have deliveries. Be careful, please.
I will thank you, Brother Garin. I appreciate it. Have you heard the good word of the Night Sisters?
I have heard of the ones who ruled Dathomir before, the witches. And their fall.
If you're ever interested in learning more, seek out Sister Sin. She's a good teacher.
Sister Sin. I believe I heard she's the one who ran away.
Ran away from what? Bayo's thinking that he's talking about their incident with the stormtroopers earlier today.
From the Order. She ran to the mountains.
Surely the Force guided her there, if that is indeed what happened. I need to be going. The Force is pulling me back that way. Thanks for the space cabbage. This is be a good help.
Of course. And he takes a few credits from you, and you have a bunch of cabbages and some information.
Perfect. I head back to the crew. So this man Garin, he's a very nice man. He's a brother in the Force. You might know. You might not want to know about that, Yuka. Crix, you guys could learn a thing or two from him. And he said that ship is owned by Zygarians, and that they have an enclave at the inroad. And he also recommended not tangling with them. And all it costs. Well, I do have a lot of cabbages, so I guess I'll carry this around until we get back to your home, Yuka. I bet the kids will love it. Well, I guess I didn't really like vegetables when I was a kid, but you need to appreciate it. It's tough to appreciate it when you're in it, but when you're older and you realize what you did.
So you did well. These are good cabbages. The information is also adequate.
He kind of has a proud little nod. Yeah, adequate. Nice.
We don't have the manpower to take a Zygarian enclave, do we?
I don't think so. If I'm honest, I kind of was going along with this plan, but it seems like we don't need them to get these kids back. We could get another ship. Although you wanted to stop that from happening in the future, so we probably do need to. I got nothing.
Do we need an army?
I think we need help because we just can't go in there and attack it because they've probably got innocents in there. Looking at Sin, who may be tempted to just, you know, cause a cantilevered bridge to just fall over. So we need a distraction so we can get in there and get anybody that they have out.
Or we need a lure to drag them outside of that ship.
Yeah, I suppose it depends what they mean by an enclave, doesn't it? You know, because they've got an enclave on the inroad as well as a ship. So if this enclave is, you know, dozens of Zygerians, let's go and look at the inroad. Let's check it out.
I agree. And I also think that if this was a challenge that we couldn't handle, the Force wouldn't have guided us here, probably. Right, Sin? Sister Sin, excuse me. He bows. Bows with the cabbages real low.
Crix is
Kind
looking
of
at the
clucks.
Crix is looking at the shovel. It's only a matter of time. Right
Yeah, we
now.
could probably bury some of these
Yeah,
in your greenhouse and you can grow more cabbages. You're right, Crix. That's a good idea. Have you heard of the proverb, give a man a root vegetable he eats for the afternoon, teach a man to root vegetable, and he will eventually learn to make synth alcohol.
BO,
Oh yeah.
shut up.
Yes, Crix. You're right. I'm sorry.
We go to the inroad, you check out the enclave, okay, BO? Don't just talk to people, just look and come back.
Okay.
You know, time is moving on.
You're right. You're right. I shouldn't. You're right. I'm being a little silly. I shouldn't be silly. Okay. Bayo holds the crate of cabbages and walks off to the inroad.
Awesome.
With the three of us cloaked.
So, Sin, you're all cloaked, but I am curious if you'd like to get out of here without being seen. You're not acting under fire, but I do think that this might be a physical action that requires quick reflexes, keeping from being seen. Does that feel fair to you?
Yeah, that seems fine.
All right. Well, cool. Why don't you try something challenging? You'll be rolling with aggro.
Yeah.
And this represents like you guys are cloaked and the stormtroopers aren't directly looking for you, but they're definitely folks like they are showing a couple of the newcomers this vid, this hollow of Sin. They are looking for her.
So that's a 5.
Awesome.
Right. And I Sin's very haughty. She's like, you know, I'm not going to, you know, I think she's fine wearing the cloak as long as she thinks it makes her look dangerous or sinister or something. And I think that's what kind of stands out.
I think so too. That seems right.
Yeah.
You're moving along, and as the 5 of you reach the portion of the starport where you have to kind of bottleneck up to go out because they've got these electrified fences. Sin, I think what all of you hear is that there's a stormtrooper.
You stop right there.
Sin, what could I do to help?
Oh, for the role that I just made, or narratively and what's going on?
To bump that up.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting.
I think Sin doesn't pay any attention, and you could run interference with this stormtrooper.
Roll plus HX to help.
Yeah.
2d6 plus 3.
Oh, you know her so well.
That is an 11.
Well. So how do you run interference and
I
clear
think
the way?
Me, officer. You know, and I could put my hands up, pull the cloak out, so the other three.
There was another person that was.
No, sorry, I thought you were talking to me.
Wait, where did?
I don't. Sorry, no. I'll put the shovel down. It's okay. Don't worry. I'll come quietly.
And then he kind of shoves you out of the way, and another stormtrooper comes over, and he asks what's going on here. He says, we had a report of
This officer tried to ask me to stop, so I thought I'd better stop and just help out any way I can.
Stormtrooper came in to question. We appreciate your service. We're looking for, and he brings up the disc and it shows a picture of Sin. Have you seen this terrorist?
Do you know, I did see that terrorist a few hours ago in Chiaroscuro.
Chiaroscuro.
Yeah, I mean, happy coincidence that you stopped me, and
All right, well, sorry to disappoint you, but there's no reward at current. We're just looking for the terrorist to keep you safe, of course. Move along.
I appreciate all you do. I'll just get my shovel.
That's terrifying.
So hang on. So on a hit, bumps up to a 7 to 9.
It does.
That may not be a clean getaway. I don't know.
It's not a clean getaway.
But on a 10 plus, in addition, you get +1 HX with them.
Awesome. So here's the deal, Sin. Trying something challenging on a 7 to 9, you can do it, but you have to ask me what it will cost you. And Sin, here's what it will cost you. You're tucking your tail and you're running from these stormtroopers who you destroyed them easily when you called upon your powers, the Night Sister. So Bayo and Yuka, you just know in your heart, they'll know that you're afraid of them. And that's what it's going to cost you, is that they see that.
Great. I think that's fine. I think I should leave. And I think that they know that I'm afraid of them. But I think like in the next scene or when we make a stop or something like that, I think I'm going to try and, sway them. I wasn't really afraid.
Oh, of course.
And I think narratively, it's literally that. I'm like, I wasn't really afraid. It wasn't,
Totally.
There were a lot of them.
They'll believe you, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So you guys lit out of spaceport and you're headed towards inroads. And let's just pick up with Sin convincing. This is an easy sway. I'm sure you may not even have to roll dice.
Oh, I don't think I actually want to roll dice. I don't want to.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah.
Steven doesn't want to convince them.
I was
just
lying.
wants to.
I didn't think that was a dice rolling thing anyway. I was totally lying.
Yeah, it's just, I want them to actually know I was afraid, but like I'm trying to cover it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I think I take some of that out on Bayo. I'm like, you should know better. So Bayo's still here, right? He wandered off with his cabbages, but is he here?
Yeah, we're all going to the inroads together. When we get there with cabbages, he's going to scope out the enclave.
You should have more dignity than this.
What do you mean?
I mean, you're carrying cabbages like a common farmer, and you should. Are you a warrior or are you a farmer?
I'm a Night Brother, and Night Brothers serve the sisters. I'm a warrior.
Yeah. Make Crix carry the cabbages.
I'm gonna look at Crix, and I'm between a rock and a hard place here because Crix is the other person who gave me a hard dressing down today about needing to make things right. And sister, before I do that, somebody told me something, and I don't want to believe it's true. They said that you ran away, that you fled to the mountains when our people were in trouble. Is that true? Because like he could have been lying. You know, I'd believe that, honestly. He seemed like he didn't really get our style of the Force. He was a little scared about it, honestly.
Well, it is true that I left this place. I left the temple where I was, but I went with others into the mountains. And I was with them until I learned enough to spread the word back among the off-worlders.
So Beo, do you want to read a person and see if she's flying?
Yes,
Yeah.
let's do that. Let's read a person. I forgot that's a move. Oh yeah, read someone. Okay, so I'm rolling with some sharp. All right, 2d6 plus 2. Boop, boop, ba-doop. I get an 11. All right. Spend 100. They have to answer quick. Okay, so on a 10 plus 3 against them, I can ask these specific things. I mean, do I need to ask these specific things, or is it just, do I know that Sin is telling the truth or not? It can be that, I suppose.
I think, well, first of all, before we move any further, do you want to interfere, Sin? 10 plus means that there's 3 holds, one of which is, are you telling the truth? But if you got that down to a 7 to 9, they only have 2. It's up to you.
Oh,
if you want to.
no, I don't want to interfere.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So one of those absolutely is, are you telling the truth? And that doesn't have to be an out loud, are you telling the truth? You can ask player to player, is your character telling the truth?
And the
Steven,
and the answer to that is from a certain point of view.
Classic.
You can tell that whenever she left, and some of the words that she used, she was definitely afraid, and she was young, but there were other people that went with her.
Okay.
So did she run away in fear? Yes. Did she abandon everyone, as was implied? Not if she did, so did others. Yeah.
Okay. So then I do want to ask the rest of these things then. Based off what I'm hearing and this discussion of you ran in the past, what are you thinking of doing?
So her primary motivation is to appear more powerful than she really is. So to draw upon that mystique, because she believes that's the way back to power, not through the Force, but through frightening people with things that are more than they think it is. There's more there than they really think there is.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And the final button on that is then, what do you hope I'll do?
Oh, I hope that you'll help rebuild the Knight Brothers, and that you'll be you will forget your past and become, a new source of what's the right word? Savagery and anger and servitude that the Knight Brothers typically are.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's all good. So after kind of reading you, Sin, as you give him this answer, he says, it's better that I carry the cabbages. I'm not as good in a fight as Crix and Yuka, I think. And he'll kind of turn a stern face to the side and keep walking with his cabbages.
I think since eyes get a little bit wide, so we see on camera that she's not used to being defied, or whenever she is, not from someone she expected this from. And you can see she kind of walks a little bit separately.
I'd like to finish my rollover of HX with Sin, please.
Oh, that sounds delightful.
Because I get to ask a question whenever this happens, and so, or whatever. So I see what's just gone on, and I go up to BO and say, "Give me the cabbages. You've been carrying them for long enough." And I would like to be. I'm more open with Sin than I was. Sin gains 1 HX with me on her sheet.
Okay.
And I look at Sin as if to say, see, doesn't have to all be about command and obey.
Okay. So, as we talked about earlier, I think that pushes me over from 3 HX to 4. So I'll go back to 1, and I get a question, and if I'm not mistaken, so I think she sees Crix do this and kind of nods back at you as if, maybe it's her, acknowledging that you know your place, or maybe it's that in recognition of thank you for helping me teach one of my peers. One of the HX questions, if I'm not mistaken, is about a secret. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the wording of that exactly?
What's a secret I've learned or realized about you?
Oh, yeah. So I like that one.
I think you've learned that the family is more important than the individual, or Crix believes that the group is more important than the individual parts of it. It's greater than the sum of the parts.
And I think from that look of understanding and the nod, I think you recognize a familiarity that we both agree with this. We might have different families, but Sin has that same devotion to family and to people. Yeah. Very good.
Nice. And remember to mark that XP as well as roll that HX over.
I think as you guys are on the walk between the spaceport and the inroads, that if remember, we talked about the inroads not being, because it used to be Durakri highways, and we said rather than being on the outskirts of the city, that it's in a central place. And I think there's a moment where there are shafts of light coming down between some of the buildings. There's one building that's kind of line, there's like an A right from the two buildings. You guys are walking between that space, very drawn out drone footage type thing. And you hear a voice call, Yuka the Blue. I'm calling you out.
From behind or in front?
From behind.
I think she'll look at the other 3 and motion for them to go forward as she'll stop and I think pull the hood down so the her silhouette is definitely in frame. Who calls?
Same guy, been following you all afternoon. Azim. They call me Deadeye.
And what business do you have with me?
It's a price on your head. I aim to collect it.
How much?
5,000 creds. Worth
That's
an
it?
afternoon's work.
Oh, I'm going to have to up that price, and I want to attack him.
Okay. Then I think that you are going to do battle, because he is ready to fire back. So you guys will be swapping harm. Now, this is that one move that at the top of our recording, I said we'll do a little different. So when you attack someone while under fire, roll twice. Assign one result to attack someone as a move, and the other to the act under fire move.
And before I do this, I will say what weapon I am bringing to bear.
Thank
I am
you.
bringing one of my plasma grenades to bear.
Oh, you bastard. It's awesome.
First roll is a 7. Second roll is a 4.
Okay, that is terrible. Which do you want to assign where?
I will assign the 7 to attack and the 4 to act under fire.
All right, so let's take a look at each move in turn. On attack someone, there is on a miss, be prepared for the worst is, but you did the 7 to 9. Sorry, 7 to 9. That means you choose one
Oh,
option.
no, on active under fire, it's a 4.
Right. I'm sorry. I was on attack
Yeah.
someone. You assigned the 7, and
Yeah.
act under fire is a 4. The miss for act under fire is being prepared for the worst. A
Gotcha.
7 to 9 on attack someone means you choose one option along with you guys swapping harm, right?
Yeah. Let me check both of these to make sure I made the right choice too.
Yeah, sure. If
See.
you want to flip that, that's okay too.
Yeah, and both are just on the mid prepare for the worst. Yeah, you're right. So
Oh, and don't forget you add for attack someone, you will add your hard, and for act under fire, you will be rolling plus cool.
yep. So it is a 8 and a 4. Yeah, I think I'm going to with this. I'm already inflicting 4 harm with this Viren weapon. So
Yes.
I think I'm just going to get them out of my way, at the very least.
Nice. I like it.
Oh,
So-
yeah, I would want help, Crix. That'd be wonderful.
Oh, okay. Man, he called you out on a one-on-one. You're going to get help? That seems
I was wondering about that.
Not
yeah.
at all
family.
sporting.
This is Fast and the Furious rules. Families first.
Oh man, I wish I didn't think about that earlier.
So yeah, I have to ask you, how could I help? And if not me, who?
I think one way you can help is that we're around a lot of Dathomir dust. With that shovel, you could give me a screen so he can't shoot at me correctly, just to block his range attacks.
Okay.
Or like even the more dangerous way is to draw his fire or his attention in a different way. But yeah, by distracting him somehow.
I'm guessing that the help move will dump on me if I get it wrong anyway, in terms of drawing fire. So yeah, I'm prepared to try that. Now, I just look at the move, and it says in order to do what they need you to, you might have to try something challenging or act under fire. Make those moves when necessary before this one.
right. And I think I'd like to know which of the two you choose. Do you want to try to shovel up some dust? If so, I don't think that's trying something challenging.
Then I'm going to just shovel up some dust.
Okay, then just roll plus.
No, I'm not. I'm going to try something more than that. This is Star Wars. You're a shovel up dust.
Love it. You're great. Awesome. Then try something challenging as you try to draw off the fire and provide some cover for your friend.
So this is plus aggro.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good.
You happen to be good at aggro?
But that isn't. That's a 4 + 2 = 6.
Awesome. He's really fast.
Is there a way? What can I do to help this help? Is this a thing that can happen? Because he's rolling a different role, not the help role. He's rolling on something else.
Do you want to help him try something challenging? Sure, you can do that.
Well, what Bayo was thinking before before the call up came up is he wanted to, after Crix took the box of cabbages from him, I think he was going to kind of have his hand ready for his laser bow or whatever they're called, the Knight Brothers bows, and was just going to kind of have it to be threatening. But I think if he sees things are going to go sideways, Sin is telling him he needs to be savage, he needs to attack, he needs to do these things. I think he's ready to fire an arrow at this villain before things go into a duel.
So let me ask Crix, how did that how he could help? Or
I can't see any other way to help, really. I mean, short of firing an arrow that hits his gun, that distracts that kind of cause it to hit the ground beside me or whatever.
wow, this has gotten very, very complicated. I like it though. Let's do it. All right, then go ahead and roll your HX there.
Okay, I'm rolling +2. I got an 11.
Well, that 11 is successful, and therefore your 11 will push up the trying something challenging to a 7 to 9. You can do it, but it will cost you something, and you get to decide for yourself. So here's what it will cost you. I think you're drawing fire. And so similar to a devil's bargain, regardless of the help being successful or not, you are going to take a couple of shots. Now, here's the part that makes it worse. If you get a mixed result in helping, you are also going to take harm. Does that make sense? Because they're two different moves. So I think there should be two different costs. Is that fair? Or do you think we should negotiate something? I've been playing a lot of.
I'm all in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
For the hate on.
Okay. So then you try something challenging to draw fire. You 100% do that thing. And then Crix, do you have armor? You do. That's great. This is a 3 harm heavy blaster. So you will only take 2 harm. Lucky you.
Well, that's fine. And then I'll roll 2d6 + 1 to actually help.
To actually try to help. Yeah. See if that goes.
Oh, that is a 10.
Nice. So on a 10, which move are you helping? The 4 on act under fire or the 7 on it?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure that we're all clear. That's the one that
I want
makes
to try
no
and
sense.
avoid preparing for the worst.
All right. So on a 7 to 9 from act under fire. Sorry if this is, I'm trying my best to keep us from getting confused. You know, flinch, hesitate, or stall, you might suffer full harm, or I could offer you a hard bargain, unfortunate choice, or a different outcome instead. I think the hard bargain here, Yuka, is that this is your last plasma grenade. I know you've got 3 marked, but that's the hard bargain. If you want to toss this out, that your hard bargain is you realize, oh, someone stole a plasma grenade from you. Is that?
Ooh. I have a rocket launcher. That's fine.
Yeah, you have lots of big weapons. That's fine. You're good. Cool. So now you do 4 harm to Deadeye, and that is going to be more than enough to kill Deadeye Asm. He, however, is firing at you and doing 3 harm. Yuka, you have some armor. So both Yuka and Crix will be rolling the harm move for 3 harm coming at them before armor, which means both of you, I think, are taking 2 harm.
1.
1 harm.
Yep. I have a lot of armor.
Nice.
So this is roll plus harm, yeah?
Yes.
So
You
this
roll.
is
Oh,
2d6.
sorry. You want to roll high.
Hmm.
And I'll change the thing for the harm move on our moves tab. You want to roll high. So this is different from historical Apocalypse World. You're rolling minus harm suffered. You took 2 harms, so you're at 6 o'clock. This is to see if it's worse.
Okay, 2d6 minus 2. That is a 5.
Okay, on a
This is
miss,
not good.
the MC chooses 1. You're out of action, unconscious, trapped, incoherent, or panicked, or it's worse than it seemed. Take additional 1 harm. Or I can choose 2 from the 7 to 9. And I think I'm going to go with out of action. Like, it takes the breath out of you. It doesn't knock you out as much as, yeah, you're hurt. It hurts a lot, and it's going to take a while to get your feet back under you.
I also got a miss, so enjoy.
Awesome. I'm going to go with the more dramatic, you're unconscious. Because that seems like a thing that Bayo and Sin, the two of you, witness this deadeye-asm, call it out. Bayo, you help out Crix. And then you see Crix, and you could get shot down before that grenade goes off, and the grenade throws deadeye-asm back. He is space dust, and the two of them, Yuka and Crix, are rough.
So I think Sin's gonna rush over and grab Crix under the arms and hiss at Bayo, grab Yuka. And I'm gonna pull them back. You said we're kind of going down a cavern, is that, or canyon kind of thing?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, it was kind of an A-frame kind of thing. And I'm gonna like pull you back into a corner, and I think I'm basically gonna try and bind the wounds a little bit, or rub some dirt on it equivalently. The weird space Dathomir stuff. And I can, we can have Sin do that. I need to go.
Yep,
So
I was getting ready to say
that off
this is-
scene. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, thanks. I'll
Thank you so
probably
much,
watch
Steven.
the last part of it. Thanks. Bye.
Cool. See you, Steven.
So I'll do exactly as Sin suggested. I'll run over to Yuka and make sure she's doing okay. Gets out of the street after the blast and tends to Yuka as needed. If Yuka is kind of allows it, Yuka also is the type who would probably shrug it off.
Yeah, I think what you will notice that like she looks like a wolf of the maelstrom normally. Since she's knocked out and unconscious, she does not look like a wolf of the maelstrom. Where the blood splatters usually are, where the gore is, are like flowers. I think like more like angelic and beautiful natural things. And her eyes are like full, like she looks completely different when she's not not conscious.
Interesting. Okay, Bayo's kind of like nicer look, I think. But all right, and drags Yuka back to the A-frame and kind of tends to you guys till we get you back to consciousness.
And Yuka, during that time when you were out, when you wake up, you're on that, you're in that vision. You're on your back. You hear the sound of the dying, the Night Sisters fighting. And that Night Sister whose burial pod you gazed upon is looking down at you. We were all meant to die here. All of us were meant to die here.
Death never goes according to plan.
You will destroy the one who refused to die. Do you understand?
I hear you.
The next time we talk, if you've not done what I order you to do, you will not like what I have to say.
I didn't much enjoy it this time.
You wake up with a ringing in your ears.
Yeah, and
And you
if Bayo
see-
is watching Yuka when her consciousness comes up, the eyes just like wither, the plants on her wither, turns to gore and like blood again as the wolf reemerges.
And you're awake. Great. Oh, good. Are you okay?
No, but I'll be all right.
Small blessings. Thank the Force. Crix looks pretty worse for wear. Perhaps I can poke ahead and check out the Enclave while you keep watch over him. We could maybe get in and just take a quick look.
Crix is strong. He'll be fine. He just had the breath knocked out of him, I think. Shouldn't he?
He should be
Well,
waking.
I wondered if this was an opportunity for me to act against the odds
Yeah.
Act against the
when
odds.
I'm backed into into a corner.
Ooh.
Or am I pushing that?
No, I like it. Let's do it.
Okay, well, first of all, I filled aggro, so I just want to make sure. So I've got 4 aggro ticks now. I clear them and add an XP.
Correct.
Okay.
And thank you for asking to make sure. It's good to get in the
Okay,
habit of
so
how
that's-
this works slightly differently.
Roll +2. Gee whiz, that's a 6.
Hmm.
On a miss. Sorry, you're good and cornered. No, my breath is not just knocked out of me.
It's true. It's true. It's a little worse than you thought.
Yeah, I think this will be like the first time Bayo sees like that genuine compassion come over Yuka's face. She realizes Crix is actually injured. She'll place a hand on his forehead, just kind of look down at him. Go. I will stay and tend to him.
Good. I'll be back as fast as I can. And yeah, Bayo puts the energy bow over his back, runs out into the street to head to the Enclave to read that situation.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Cool. Let's follow that then.
Okay.
You head out to the inroads. The inroads is again overlooking where you are now. So it's one of those huge shots of you looking up at the Enclave, the place where these Zygarians, the Duracrete Bridge, 100 meters long, almost 50 meters above where you are. You're standing in a bit of the muck at the edge of where a river used to run. And you see that they have a few ladders that you can climb, but it seems like most people who are moving it out, they're doing it via shuttles and speeders. So how do you want to get up there to take a look?
I think Bayo is happy to climb up some ladders and do some jumps and keep it low profile as he clambers up.
Low profile, I think, is why I'm going to ask you to try something challenging.
All right. Can't wait. 2d6 plus 0.
That sounds
So,
good.
it's-
That sounds
you know it's
really
strong.
good.
I got a 4.
Man, all those boxcars, you guys used them up.
Yep, we used our juice early.
Sweet. You climb up the ladder at one point. So you, Cody, know
Mhm.
what a Zygarian looks like. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Let me show a picture to.
They're another cat folk looking race.
They
if I
are
remember right.
indeed.
Yeah.
They are not nice people at all. So this is generally what the Zygarians look like. So they look dramatically different from the Cathari, I think. They were from the Clone Wars, and they were very big slavers.
Mhm.
So you're climbing up the ladder. They do look a little ratchet and clanky. Damn, that is
Yep.
You nailed it. I never made that connection, but you are not wrong. You make up, you see a pair of cat eyes, glance over, see you, but they don't interfere with your progress. And you make your way up, and as you peek up, you see that one of them has a blaster pistol. They've just let you climb all the way up, get nice and tired, and you see it's like what would Bayo know? Younger, maybe 5 foot tall, wiry,
Mhm.
a night brother. Excellent. Climb up here.
Bayo finishes climbing, or at least high enough to where he has a free hand. Is the Zygerian close enough to where the ladder ends that Bayo might be able to reach their foot?
That seems like you're going to try something challenging.
Sure am. So yeah, Bayo will climb high up as he's reaching for that final rung. He's gonna dart his hand up and try and grab the ankle and ankle pick, pull him forward, and hopefully
Yeah, and
give
you
him
say,
enough time.
"Oh, a Night Brother will fetch a very nice price. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, this is oh.
Here comes the 2d6. 5.
Awesome.
Perfect.
So the good news is
Mhm,
that
mhm.
this young Zagarian gets spooked and doesn't shoot you when you miss. The bad news is that the second shot is at the ladder and you fall. And I think Bayo falling 50 meters is where we will see him falling off. And I think that's where we end our session.
Perfect. Amazing.
Just as a warning, Cody, I think your life has become untenable.
Yeah, no,
That's fair.
It very much feels that things
Okay.
have gone as bad as possible in that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so take a look at those options for when your life's become untenable. You can choose any one of those that you want, but I think that feels like the most fair to
Yeah,
my terribly
absolutely.
hard move.
Two terribly bad fails at the top of a very high ladder. It's like, no, you die. You push him, but it's Star Wars. You know, everyone survives from fall heights sometimes, right?
Yeah, if you fell into a hole, everyone has to fall from great heights in Star Wars at some point. So
if there's no explosion afterwards, who can even know for sure? And even then,
So
Your
even
hair
then, like how
goes-
what type of explosion is it? How big is it? Like is
Thank
it like an
you.
Acme explosion that can always just like knock you further away from the fall?
all of those are options, absolutely. Cool. Let's do our. Remember, we've got lots of session in stuff, which is fun and interesting, but also a little time consuming. So let's hop to it. At the end of every session, you get to choose a character who knows you better than they used to, and they get to mark +1 HX to their HX with you on their sheet. If more than one character knows you better, choose at most 2. If no one knows you better, choose a character who doesn't. Blah blah blah. Yuka, who knows you better?
I think I'll pick 2 with Bayo for seeing Yuka unconscious, and
definitely.
Crix for that she stayed behind.
Nice. Crix, who knows you better?
I think the true answer to that is probably Sin, but I don't think, because it's the same, I've already used that. So I think it is BO, because he saw the way I managed that relationship issue he was having with Sin.
Nice. I like that a lot.
yeah, and
Okay.
I think for me, Crix is definitely someone who knows me better. I think that clearly there was this low-level history between Crix, Bayo, and Revita, and coming back into it, having Crix kind of give him a talking to and seeing how he behaves, I think Crix knows him better.
Nice. We'll stick with you, Bayo, and I ask you 2 questions. Are you satisfied with your place in the galaxy?
No, I'm very much not.
All right. Then go ahead and mark an XP. And then, does your scavenge still hold true?
Yes, my scavenge still holds true.
I think you leaned on it real hard. I completely agree with you. Like, it felt like you were embodying a lot of the ideas we had behind what your scavenge is set. Absolutely agree. Move to the middle here with Crix. Are you satisfied with your place in the galaxy?
No, I'm even less satisfied now than I was last week, because my business, as far as I know, is still being ruined by stormtroopers. Of course I'm not satisfied.
Okay. Does your scavenge still hold true?
I don't think it does. I think I'm going to go to A, which is I don't think that many of the opportunities gave me 2 barter still exist. So I think I'm at maximum 1 barter.
Okay.
So, but hang on. So if I'm not happy with my place in the world, I add an XP.
Correct.
Right, that's my 6th. I clear those and I'll get an improvement.
Yay, someone got an improvement. I'm very happy that you got
Yes,
an improvement. It is more challenging now.
it is.
than
It is.
used to be.
And then scavenge. If it does, no, it doesn't.
Correct. You don't get an XP if your scavenge changes.
No.
We just talk about it. Yuka, are you satisfied with your place in the galaxy?
No, not at all.
And then does your scavenge still hold true?
Sadly, yes.
Yeah, not the happiest of scavenge situations for you. All right, that ends all of the book working. Now we get to do a quick bit of stars and wishes. I will ask Stephen for his stars and wishes. We'll start with wishes so we can end with stars. Who'd like to go first, offering up some wishes at our midpoint for the series?
I'll offer a wish. I want us to try and free the slaves from the Zygerian enclave. Whether we can do that in one or whether that's that's the kind of finale, I don't know. I am quite interested in how we can involve Milo and the Clatuinian gang, because it strikes me that Milo does actually owe Yuka and I a favor.
It's true. You
Um,
absolutely do have a debt on her.
so I'm curious about whether we could get Milo to maybe offer a bit of kind of running interference from the Zygerians while we, small body of motivated individuals, ...
That sounds fun. Sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alan.
Yeah, Alan has hit on my wish of wanting to drag Milo back into this, because I also thought of I didn't get paid for that job that Crix technically finished for me, so I could still get that, and I'd like to see where this Night Sister Vision business is going as well, and see whether I kill Sin or not. That's going to be fun.
I am not the kind of GM MC who normally pits players against each other. I just want to say that out loud to absolve myself of the guilt of pointing you at another.
Absolve
person.
yourself of this sin.
Oh, hi-oh, dang.
He did take my grenades before he sent me after, so I'm not as armed. I only have 6 weapons now.
Exactly. You only have 6. You're like a kitten, or a Zygerian kitten, but still. And then, last but not least, Cody. What wishes do you
I
have?
think my wish was gonna be something very specific, but how it ends, I almost don't know what comes next. So I'm very excited for everything. I originally, I don't know. Yeah, I also hope we free the slaves from this enclave, and I wish I honestly don't know, because I don't know what I'm gonna take for BO next, if that's gonna happen. So it's kind of tough to wish the next thing, because previously when Alan brought up that Ravita holds a torch for BO, it became like, oh, I like him as a kind of like a himbo who doesn't realize that Ravita's up into him. And I wanted to see him struggle between this new, well, Crix is telling me to do this, and I kind of like talking and hanging out with these kids and taking care of them, but Sin is telling me to do worse things. So I like that he was in this conundrum, but then he fell very far. So I don't know what comes next. So it's tough to deliver a hard wish on that, I guess.
I mean, can I just ask a question here? Because I have an improvement to take, and I have a move called There in Extremity. When the life of someone you care about becomes untenable, you are there no matter the barriers, with or without any clear explanation of how you got there. What I'm not clear is what that could mean in practice, whether that would be whether that is intended to interfere with the untenableness or just to be a kind of narrative nicety.
That's a great question.
It looks like it's just you get to be there for when it happens, and then maybe for whatever the juice comes of that to the choice.
I don't, because I suppose what I wanted to put on the table was that conceivably, depending on how you read that, Rich, if BO didn't want to come back changed, I might be able to interfere with that or give him a rational reason for the change that he undertook.
I really wish there was more about like in that move that says what happens when you're there.
Yeah.
So you're there.
Yeah.
And to me, your life becomes untenable is a result state. Yeah, it's already happened.
Yeah, it has.
I think it also plays in with another one of the Undaunted's moves where they get to go aggro and threaten the maelstrom. So like if their life is untenable, you get to like basically say you can't touch them so that they don't come back plus one weird, or you're going to do this unless I say something. So they do come back plus one weird. There are ways to handle it otherwise.
I think Bayo, he'll come back change, but probably, but maybe not right away. I don't know. So Alan, I wouldn't want you to spend your XP on an advancement just to give him a narrative reason, because honestly, I think there's already enough of them there. Like, yeah, fine. Bayo tried to get aggro, and look what it got him.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. It doesn't seem a very interesting move in and of itself. It must be said.
I like that it says for NPCs as well, so that's interesting, especially vis-a-vis if you could interrupt it, right? So you could be popping around to save your children, I guess, is maybe what that's. But yeah, I agree with Cody in that it's like, it's probably not going to happen. Okay, it might. Anyway, yeah, I'm with Cody. Maybe don't choose the move, but it's a really cool move to look at, and it does seem, in a way, if situations are slightly different, a good time for it. Cool. Any other wishes? I think we've got all the wishes, so we'll stick with Cody. Do you have any stars to hand out?
Yeah, stars. Stars for Rich. Big star for you for like rolling with all of our really good rolls and be like, oh, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to use this hard move, and then you just were like, I'm just gonna use it now. I'm just gonna use it because damn it needs to happen. And then it ended up being the kickoff for all of these things going poorly. So that was good. And also, Rich, on another star, I want to give you a big star for just saying, hey, this is it. You fell from this, like, you rolled poorly twice and really sticking it to me and sticking it to Alan. So I guess that's it. The big star is, Rich, thank you for being really brutal with the consequences, because sometimes I feel like sometimes we play with kids gloves, not we as in us, but just in general, because we're afraid of bad consequences. So it's like, well, maybe it's just a wound. Maybe it's just a little bit of a wound. And these rolls deserve death is how I feel. So big star to you, Rich.
Thank you. Thank you. I will just quickly share that star with Alan from the last time we played Apocalypse World Burned Over, and Alan so righteously grasped onto the, your life becoming untenable is actually kind of cool, and that opened me up to, okay, cool, this doesn't stop the train, this just changes the direction in some interesting ways. So I'm a lot less afraid of that terribleness of those results. So thank you, Alan, for teaching me that.
Well, yeah, I think I used it twice in a four session series.
In 4 sessions, you became untenable twice. It was magnificent. Awesome. Cody, are you good? Do you have any other wishes? Because I talked over you.
No, I think that is good. Well, you know what? Actually, okay, Alan, another big star for suggesting these things. You have all these NPCs. I feel like I personally have steered clear of playbooks where I have a lot of NPCs to manage, and you took that and ran with it. And giving them all personality and things that they're interested in, and putting them into the story, I think is really cool. And Ferret, I am so into this fluctuation between the force that Yuka is up to, of like, oh, they're dreaming about this, oh, they're investigating this, they're hard as can be, and then you say, oh, when they're unconscious, it's nice. Like, I think you're leaning into being a very scary person in a really good way, that I almost was a little worried that maybe we were all coming, it's between me, between Sin, and between Yuka, it's like, oh, maybe we're all leaning too good now. We're like, we made these hard individuals, but then we started to be like, no, we'll do the good thing. But you are so in that space between that, it's very exciting to see. I don't know which thing you're going to choose at any moment. It's awesome.
Absolutely. Cool. So Cody Ferret, did you have any stars?
Yeah, and like I like but yeah, thank you, Rich, for all this. Like the dice roller gave and it took, and it did. I did feel like that little tumble, but like thank you for making children interesting in Apocalypse World. Like there's that thing, like, yes, they're slaves, yes, like they're pushing the narrative, but it's not like pushing the narrative because like they're drastically in danger right now, or like they're annoying and we don't care about them, kind of things. So it's very hard to balance children in Apocalypse World, I find. And Cody Bayo is just I'm gonna miss the himbo surfer Night Brother, because I'm sure he's gonna come back changed, and that's gonna, well, even if he doesn't come back changed, his life became untenable. You don't recover from that and stay the same. So, but just the entire aspect of like seeing I love the resistance to sin, like that small little bit that just shows that you're not that tides may be turning. And Alan Crix is that bastard. I think we're both kind of Boba Fett in a different way. I'm the old method of unpredictable kind of bullshit, or the violent thing, and you're just like the heart of gold from the new series, even though that went weird. But yeah, Crix is just a good fluctuation between, like, equilibrium between I can do violence, but I am protective, and it's a good balance to strike.
I think it's a really good expression of the playbook. I'm really impressed by it. Yeah, cool. Thank you,
It's
Ferret.
an interesting playbook, it must be said. It's been an interesting one to explore. Yeah, stars, yeah, for rolling with the good rolls, Rich, just sitting there and letting us be really, really cool all the time, and then coming down like a hammer when you had a chance. And yeah, Ferret, for Yuka, this I loved the bit when unconscious, the wolf goes away, and flowers in the hair. It's just lovely. Yeah, and I'm enjoying. Thank you for being, Cody, the surfer space dude, a space surfer dude, that Crix can kind of just get just sort it out, get your act together, do the work. And yeah, I think these kids have been great fun, Rich. I think that they've been, in not a bad, they've not been threatened, but they are threatened. That's really, yes, but as Ferret said, that's a difficult line to walk. I normally, put even a line sometimes on any harm to kids, because it's very difficult to handle well. So good on you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
having fun.
Good.
I would note for the advancement, Alan, there with the devotion and following, one of the devotion options is give children. So,
oh, true. But is it like that children or children? Who knows?
No, yeah, like the children, like they bring hope and play kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Fun. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for playing. This has been an excellent session, and mostly leaning on your shoulders. You guys carried the load. It was very fun. And so we'll bring this recording to a close, and we'll continue forward next week.